Hello everyone, Laymore here. Today I'm going to get very vulnerable with you. I'm going to tell you things that I don't generally talk too much about. When I was a child, about 3 years old, I remember that I was hiding in a corner, trying very hard to be invisible and silent, so I wouldn't get hit, so I wouldn't get yelled at, so I wouldn't be called names, so I wouldn't have any other form of mistreatment. And this is how I grew up. I was the one who in high school wore long sleeve shirts and long pants, even on hot days, to hide the bruises. When I got to be an adult, it's no surprise at all that I chose abusive relationships. And I chose mistreatment. It was what I was used to. It was what I thought of as normal. It's not normal. It's not normal for anyone. But it did teach me a very special skill. I honed this skill to an art form, and that is being able to read someone's energy in an instant. It was a survival skill. And I still can do that. I do that all the time. It's how I help people now. I help people, especially people who have been in the same kinds of situations I have, but are now ready to break the cycle, just like I was. There are different types of abuse. There's the physical abuse where somebody's hitting you, and they know that's wrong. Whether they can control it or not, that may be a different issue, and that's something that they would need to work on. But there's also the type that's more like mental, where they're trying to work with your mind, play mind games on you to convince you that you are not worthy, or that you are not somebody who should have good things or a good life. It's a matter of control. And then there's the emotional kind also, where they do things like, one of my perpetrators said to me, "Your crying is you're trying to manipulate me." It took away all personhood. It took away all feeling of any sort of worth. And I still to this day have trouble crying. If I cry in private, and I do it very quietly, so no one will hear. But I have learned to let it out, which is one of the steps that needs to be taken to face it, to deal with it. Now, these perpetrators, there's a history of behind the perpetration, and most of the perpetrators think of themselves as very normal people, even very nice people, and they don't really see how much their behavior is harming people around them, people whom they say they love. But that's not necessarily the way that you need to see it. If you're one of these people, you can see it. You can deal with it. The perpetrators themselves, they do this because they feel wronged by a system that makes them feel powerless, even though they are part of the privileged class. They may be not as high on privilege as some other people. They may not have had access to as many resources as other people. And that may be why they feel like they are disempowered. And thus they try to gain back that feeling of being powerful by trying to make somebody else feel less powerful, and by treating a person as an object. This objectification can take all sorts of different means. They may take you to, say, a party, or come to a party with you and show you off like you're an icon for a mantle or something, because you're their person, you're their whatever they want to put in there. They don't see you as a person, they see you as an object, and therefore they can treat you any way they want to, because you're not a person. But you know you're a person. You know you have every right to live this life and to live it fully. And you have the ability to work with and deal with any of this kind of behavior that has been perpetrated on you. For instance, I know one young lady who, her roommate, they're not even anything really romantic at all, decided he didn't want to do any housework or any yard work, because when he came home from work, he was, quote, tired. And does that mean that she wasn't tired? Does that mean that she should be responsible for taking care of everything? No. So I talked to her and I said, you need to do something about this. You need to put it out there that this is not going to work. And she did. And because the place they were renting is actually in her name, she had the power to say, it changes or you're gone, which she did. And it changed. This is part of what needs to happen in this cycle in order to break it. Is it needs to be addressed. It needs to be put front and center. Now, I understand how very difficult this is, because I've done it. I've done it many times. I had one person, one male, who would bring home all sorts of rescued animals. But once and that's a wonderful thing. I mean, animals need to be rescued. But as soon as they got home, as soon as the animal was in the house, nothing. No care for the animal, no food, no nothing. It was just dropped on me. And I got very tired of that. I had other things to do with my life than to take care of animals for somebody who refused to do it for himself. And I addressed it. It was difficult. This was a turning point for me when I set down the law and said, you will get rid of this animal. You will do whatever you need to take care of this animal and get it a better home. Or I will take it to the shelter for you, where you know what's going to happen to this animal. Well, that animal got a better home. Because I stood up for it. I faced my fears. And I know how to do this. And I know how to to show other people how to do this. It's a process of taking back your own power through facing your fears, through facing the perpetrator's issues, but not you. You don't have to do anything with their issues. You need to know they're there. But you do not need to know how they're going to deal with them. You need to deal with your own and take back your own power so that you can release the fears and the pain and you can rebalance relationship powers. You deserve to live a happy, healthy, productive life. And I would love to see that you get to do that to the very best of your ability. Right now, I have an offer. I help people, and I have helped a lot of people. I've helped the residents of the 2018 eruption who lost all of their belongings or were displaced for months. And I helped them to work through what they were going through so that they could move forward. I've helped all sorts of women with the same thing. And these women, I just had one come back to me just yesterday. And she came to me in what she called unhappy relationship. She was asking herself the question, do I stay or do I go? And we talked through it and we worked through it. And yesterday she posted on Facebook that they just celebrated their 27th wedding anniversary. And the relationship is now very happy for her and for the whole family. And that's just one of many. And I would like to see that you be one of the many. So right now, I'm offering for free my Empower Your Relationship session. This is where we will sit down and we will talk about what's going on with you, see where you want to go, and we can see if we can help you get some tools to get there. If this sounds interesting to you, please private message me, contact me, whatever way you need to. I would love to be able to talk to you and see if we can work together. Thank you.